Hey, everybody, welcome back to the new episode of the Balanced Vibes podcast. This is your host, Kirsten here. Thank you so much for being here today. I hope you had a great weekend. When I'm recording this podcast, it is Sunday, November 27th, so probably airs pretty soon. Over here in the States, of course, it was the Thanksgiving weekend. So I hope that you had a great time with your friends and family and that you ate some good food. And of course, I hope that I don't have to remind you that there's no need to work anything off or restrict yourself in the following week. There's no need to do this. One day of eating a little bit more is not going to ruin your progress, just like one day of eating well is not going to make a whole lot of difference in your physique and strength and all that. So take it easy, chill. The internet was so full of all kinds of information before Thanksgiving, all the common rules that we all already know, such as eat your fiber, make sure that you get your protein in, make sure that you drink a lot of water. And I was like, can we just chill here for a little bit? Because we're talking about one day, potentially 2 days of eating a little bit more than usual. Do we really have to be so strict with all the rules that we may typically follow? And do we really have to measure everything? And of course, I told all my clients, please don't weigh anything. Just don't weigh anything. It's not necessary at all. And just enjoy yourself and make the choices that make you feel good. So I hope you had a good one. And actually, what I just talked about, the having to work off your meals or whatever, I wanted to share with you something that happened yesterday. I think it was pretty funny. So as I said, also in a previous podcast, I'm going to do a little bit of like life updates or what's on my mind right now, what's going on. I should probably come up with a good name for this segment. So if you have any thoughts, let me know. Anyways, we were hiking yesterday. And then we found a nice place, like a little relatively short but pretty strenuous hike here in Phoenix. And we were just, done with the hike, and we were almost back to our car. And then we see this woman with her friend, and they were also hiking. And this lady, she was really friendly and really nice. And what she said though was that, "Oh, you guys also trying to work off the Thanksgiving, right?" And I was like rolling my eyes. I was like, shit, like this is exactly not what I believe in. But before I had a chance to say anything, my husband was like, yeah. And I was like, why did you say this? And it was funny because I noticed that that was like a little trigger for me. I was surprised how annoyed I got by this, but now I'm looking back to it. I'm like, well, whatever, right? This is how most people think. And, I'm getting probably a little bit more irritated because I'm trying to deliver the opposite message here, that none of this restriction is necessary. You're not going to work anything off because you know what? Even if you go on a hike, that's like 1 hour hike, like the one yesterday, there's zero chance that you're going to work off or going to burn off all the calories that you ate at Thanksgiving. I mean, of course, it depends on how much you ate, but if you had just like a larger dinner, and I don't know the exact statistics, but I remember a couple of years ago, I read somewhere that like a typical Thanksgiving dinner for a lot of people is like 3,000-4,000 calories even. So let's say that you ate 3,000-4,000 calories actually. And now I think that 1 hour hike is going to burn that. Good luck, because it's not going to get anywhere close to it. So, well, because it makes you feel good. This is what we did yesterday. It was such a nice day. It was Saturday. The sun was out. Saturday is always a day off for us, no matter what. And that's what they did. And it had nothing to do with burning things off. But yeah, it was funny how actually I got kind of irritated. I was like, oh, why did you have to say yes? But it is what it is. All right. So today I want to share with you a client success story. And I wanted to do this because I think some of you out there might be thinking and saying that, when you get older, it's absolutely impossible to lose any weight anymore. And especially women, especially after menopause. Also, sometimes I hear it in perimenopause, like hormones are getting a little bit wonky, so to speak. And they're like, okay, hell no, nothing to do here anymore, nothing saved, nothing to save here. I can't do anything about it, game over. But this client that I'm going to talk to you about today is 67 years old, and she lost 8 pounds in about 10 weeks. I want to show you what she did, what her initial thoughts were before she even started with me, and how she was able to lose that weight. And I also want to tell you that, 8 pounds in 10 weeks is great progress, especially for a person, for her, who actually didn't have much to lose. She was not a heavy person. She's not a heavy person. She started out, she was 138 pounds. And I know some of you might be thinking, oh my God, like, why would she even want to lose weight? Like, I'm 200 pounds here. So that's okay. It's okay where you are right now. And it's okay where she was when she started. Everybody has their own starting point, and everybody has has their own goals and what they want to accomplish. So she was 138 pounds and she wanted to lose some weight and body fat. And this is what we did. And honestly, losing 8 pounds in 10 weeks is a really, really great result, especially for a person who doesn't have a ton to lose to begin with. So what did we then do with her? So first of all, I want to tell you that she was very skeptical. And I know her from before, from earlier when I used to do more in-person training. And, we always got along, great person, love her, she's wonderful. But she always told me that it's not going to work, or, losing weight in my age is really, really difficult. And a couple of times she responded to my emails like, yeah, I get what you're saying, but not when you are 60 plus. However, at one point, she decided to give it a try. And she was a little skeptical also, when it came to her ability to track everything, because she said, I hate tracking. I cannot do this. This drives me nuts. And previously I had told her, you know what, if this is the case, then this is probably not right for you. And let's not do this, no pressure. You don't have to track. You don't have to use macros to lose your weight. But at some point she decided she will give it a try. And by the way, I've had one other person too that comes to my mind right now, who in the beginning was very kind of like, oh, I don't know if I can do this, numbers drive me nuts. And it's so interesting that eventually these end up being the people who are the most successful. I've seen it time and time again. People who say, oh, the tracking, they're putting everything on a scale. No, I cannot do this. I cannot do this. And then they're wildly successful. Like one of my most successful clients right now was exactly like this as well. And she has lost 14 pounds and kept it up. So, all right. So, when we then finally got started, then she was all in. Then she was like, okay, we're going to do this. I understand this. I'm going to have to put everything on a full scale and wait. And that's how it is with macros. You guys, if you want to use another method to lose that body weight and body fat, and you find something that works better for you, and that is not an extreme diet, then go for it. I'm not saying that macros are for everybody, and not everybody's in the right spot in their life where they can do it, or this is just not what works for their personality or their lifestyle. It does not have to be you. But she said that she can do it, and then when she started tracking, things started going really well. Now, what was a big benefit, and what was the reason that she got results so quickly? The reason was that a couple of things, of course, like I said, very accurate tracking, but also the other one was that she was already eating well. So she wasn't starving herself. She was not eating 1,300 calories. Her calories were way higher, and they were high enough for me to feel comfortable to start a cut immediately. Because you probably know that your calories have to be in a high place before you can cut. Your metabolism has to be in a healthy place before you can start a cut. If you are in the middle of a diet, or if you've been chronically dieting for a long time, then this is not the case. And this is where you need a build-up phase. And again, if you are right now at a higher body weight and you are chronically dieting and you've done this for a long time, you may feel frustrated, right? Like, I want to start losing weight also, but why do I have to do this build-up phase? Well, because your metabolism isn't healthy, but hers was. So this was a great place for me to start a cut, and we started seeing results relatively quickly. And so over the course of 10 weeks, we then increased her protein, which she had also told me previously that this is so hard to do, this is impossible to do. It's almost like this little rebellious thing going on all the time. But once she got going really well. So when I asked to see her 5-day food log previously before we got started, which is something that I always do, then protein was under 100 grams. So we increased that way higher than that gradually. And now she's been hitting that higher number very consistently. And we also had to decrease her carbohydrates a little bit. So that ratio was tiny bit off. And of course, we went into a calorie deficit. So from what she was typically eating, we did a cut from there. So increased protein, decreased carbs, fat stayed pretty much the same. And she started seeing results, like I said, 8 pounds down in 10 weeks. So at the 10-week mark, we actually took a break, because I always do a diet break. You guys, if your coach is not taking diet breaks or telling you to take a diet break at some point in your journey, max 12 weeks in, then you have to do it. You just have to do this. And this is so needed for your body, to give it some space and give it some time to relax and recover and upregulate your hormones again. Make sure your thyroid gets some time to recover, because every time you cut calories, this is stress on the body. So at 10 weeks, it was also a really good time for us to take that diet break because she was going overseas to travel. So she was traveling for 2 weeks, and during that time, I told her, diet break is not like a random eat whatever whenever, like totally go crazy, because then you're gonna, you're gonna lose your results if you go totally nuts for like 2-3 weeks. It still has to be strategic, but of course, when you're traveling, you cannot weigh in and track everything. So in her case, it was kind of like a hybrid. She was kind of trying to track a little bit, but wasn't able to be super super specific with it. But because these 2 weeks during the diet break, they are higher calorie weeks, then actually this worked really, really well during her travels. And when she came back, she had not gained anything. So she was definitely eating higher calories. She told me, there's more like chocolate croissants and a little bit more wine and all that. But she also stayed active. She didn't go to the gym, but she took a lot of walks. I think there are a couple of bike rides there. When you go to a new place, you travel, there's a lot of places to explore. So she stayed active. She ate a little bit more, came back, the weight was staying. And then we were able to go back into a deficit. So 2 rounds of deficit. This is where I usually, this is where we close it, and this is where we do a reverse diet. And yeah, like I said, great results. In 10 weeks, she lost 8 pounds. She every single week she was eating out at least once. I think most times it was once. So it's the day when she goes hiking with her friends, and there's the meal after hiking. And this is something that I want to also emphasize. When we're tracking, we want to get results, it is important that we eat mostly at home and make sure that the most of the foods that we're eating are measured and tracked accurately. But of course, you can have some flexibility. You can have like one meal out a week, a couple of meals out even a week. But if it's a very frequent thing, then you're not going to get the results that you want to get. And this is where you just have to think, what do you want more? Like, do you need to eat out 7 days a week or 7 times a week? Because there are people like that who do that. This is their lifestyle. And just for them, maybe this tracking isn't for them. If they want to keep that 7 meals a week, eating out every week, then tracking is probably not for them, because this is not doable with their lifestyle. However, if they're willing to really change that because they want to get the results, then they have to cut back and cook at home more and maybe have 1 or 2 meals out every week. And this is how they will get results as well. So this is all. I think it's a great story. I think it's inspiring for a couple of reasons, because, 67 years old, a lot of people will tell me that you cannot get results anymore at this age, post-menopause, blah, blah, all the things. The other thing can be that, macros don't work or whatever. Well, if you're accurate and track everything for the most part, and then, stay consistent with hitting your goals, then it's absolutely possible at any age. And final reminder, I want to say that it's always best when you can start your weight loss, fat loss from a high calorie place. It doesn't mean that you have to be overweight. So these are not the same thing. Just like in her case, her calories were high enough. They were in a good place, but she was not overweight. She was 138 pounds. So definitely not overweight at all. But then because she had healthy metabolism, that was burning enough calories, right? That's why she was able to eat high calories. And that's why when we did a cut, we could go into a cut immediately without having to do the build-up phase or the reverse diet before. All right, you guys, I hope this was helpful and interesting for you. Let me know if you have any questions about this case or anything else. And make sure to also join my Fit and Fueled Facebook group, where I'm going live every single Monday. So I hope to see you there. Thank you so much for being here today, and I'll see you again very soon. Bye-bye.